So starting a mission control here, right? Our basic path takes us through the zombie. But what happens when we can't zombie? When our partner's nice and tight and he starts to square us up. As he squares us up, I like to put my foot on my hip here, and I'm going to start looking for my crackhead control. Crackhead, I'm bringing my foot up, and I'm crossing my ankles above the head. This does a couple things. One, it stops Steph's posture, my partner's posture, from him being able to posture all the way up and break my rubber guard. Two, it allows me a couple different transitions. So again, we get back into our mission control. Steph's gonna square us up. Here, my foot goes on the hip, and now I bring it up, crossing my ankles above the head. Still keeping my arm bent if I can. Now I can't zombie, he's being nice and tight. So I'm gonna do the pump. Our transition now is gonna take us into arm bars. So with our pump, our hand goes to the elbow, and we're gonna actually raise our legs and raise our heels as we start jamming this elbow to the center of the body. I pump, 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 that elbow to the center of the body. From here, I need my deep hook. My left hand is gonna go all the way in, elbow to elbow, and I grab my hip pocket. Once I'm deep, elbow to elbow, and I have my hip pocket, I can let go with my rubber guard arm, and I pinch my knees in, and I lock that shoulder there. Notice you can't see my partner's shoulder. Everything's locked in. I'm nice and deep, elbow to elbow. My hand is on my hip pocket. This is my deep hook. I'm deep, elbow to elbow. He's completely trapped. Can you pull out, Steph? Completely stuck. Keys to success. Again, once I have this crackhead position, I need to use my arm and my legs together. As I lift with my legs and my arm straightens, I need to bring this arm in. And I'll come back down and up and down and do this pump motion a few times in order to get that elbow right to the center of my belly button. Here. I want his arms to come in. So again, in this crackhead position, here, I'm gonna pump. I want his arms to come in to the center of my body. Then I get my deep hook. My hand comes all the way in. I take my time. I get nice and deep. I let go and I pinch everything together. I need to make sure I pinch my knees together and I'm actively leg curling down. This locks his shoulder in place so we can't push forward and break free. If I'm lazy here, Steph is able to push his shoulders through and I lose everything. So I need to make sure I'm constantly pinching everything in. I have my deep hook and I'm leg curling down. So now I need to spin with my leg curls, is what we call it. I'm gonna undo my ankles and I'm reaching for this underhook. As I undo my ankles though, I keep my knees pinched and my top leg is gonna leg curl on the back. This knee actually pinches into Steph's head. So you'll see, as I reach for this underhook, I undo my ankles and I spin. Look at my knee here pinching into his head. And look at my leg actively curling down on his back. I'm not lazy because it all falls apart. I need to actively be pinching my knee into his head, actively leg curling down. And I do this throughout the spin so he never loses tension. I can try and finish the armbar here, but I need that leg over the head first. If I can finish this armbar, great. But a lot of people hide that arm and they defend as I bring that leg over the head. So if I can't finish that armbar, we're stuck and we're gonna have to move on. Spinning with this leg curls is harder than you think. Once we get this deep hook, and I pinch, as I reach, I'm undoing my legs, but I'm constantly pinching my knees. It's tiring on my inner quads, it's tiring on my legs, but I need to always keep those leg curls. Everything's super tight the whole time. This leg comes over the head, here, and now we're in this deep hook with an underhook, ready to transition. Now we gotta do the toss. We can't finish our armbar here. We're stuck on our back, we gotta move on. So I'm using this underhook, my leg's gonna come off the head, and I'm gonna create momentum with a pendulum. Here, I'm tossing my partner over his shoulder. If I try and go straight over, he's got a base there. I can't take him over there. So I have to take him over his shoulder because I have his arm trapped. So he has no base. I use my leg and my arm and I throw him. His head lands in between my legs. My leg comes back over the head. I cross my ankles. I have my deep hook throughout the entire transition. And I finally underhook the leg. I need to be able to use my leg as a pendulum as I throw him with my arm. I'm not just using my leg because now I have nothing. I need to actually lift him with my arm. As I throw him, my leg comes off the head and goes at a 45. My other leg chops into his armpit and I take him over his shoulder. Making sure this leg goes nice and wide so that his head falls in between my legs. So I toss him nice and wide. His head falls between my legs. Now it's easy to bring this leg over the head. I can cross my ankles and I control the far leg. Super basic armbar now, just to finish. Steph has his rear naked choke defense, his figure four grip, arm under the hamstring, his arm's defending behind his own arm. So I'm creating tension here. I actually like to lean and create tension on that arm. And then once I see that hand start slipping, I'm reaching and I'm just gonna jam this elbow. I grab the wrist and I bring it towards my far hip. My key to success for this armbar is using my body. I need a nice deep hook, always, throughout my transition and in my spiderweb position. So I make sure I have a nice deep hook, elbow to elbow. I curl my hand onto my hip pocket and create all that tension. Now, as I lean, my body starts hanging off of that arm. And my whole body is stronger than his arm, so eventually it's gonna slip. Eventually it'll slip. And I can take that arm bar. But super strong guys, super big guys, it'll take longer to slip. So I create that tension, and as soon as I see it start to slip and he has to hold on, I just jam that elbow, catch the wrist, and I make sure I take it over my far hip here. If I take it over my near hip, it gives him opportunity to escape. If I take it center body, I can finish, but it still gives him opportunity to fight. I want no room for escape.